Okay, look here. I know some of y'all watching this video may not care about fans, but it being that I already own so many fans, I would use fans as an example of China pride. How China has inserted their production in today's fans. Again, I know some of you watching this video may not care about fans, but since I own so many fans already, I just thought I would use fans as an example of how China pride the fan manufacturers have gotten with their fan quality. So let's observe here. Alright, we have a Prostandard high velocity fan that I bought from Lowe's back in about 2003. And over to your right here, we have a Utilitech fan that I bought back in about, I'm going to say I bought the Utilitech back in about 2013. First off, look at the grills. Let's combine the grills of both these fans. I mean, the Prostandard here, it's as tough as a tank. You see there, that fan is as tough as a tank. It can take somewhat of a beating, but the Utilitech to the right, look at how much the grading of the grills are thinner. I would say the grill grading to the Utilitech fan here is actually thinner than the Prostandard. So, if I were to throw a temper tantrum and punch this fan in the grill real hard, I could even cause a dent. A dent that would back into the blades so much that the blades wouldn't be able to even move. Yeah, one good beating to this fan right here, and you could have a good dent. And the dent could be rubbing up against the blades, preventing them from moving. And let's compare the blades of the fans here. You see how very thick the blades to my Prostandard is? I mean, I bought this fan back in 2003. And back in 2003, there were some fans that were still built good. And this is one of the fans still built good back in 2003. I would say about the mid-2000s is when the manufacturers really went downhill with the manufacturing of their fans. But I mean, look here. You see how thick these blades are? Right there. And look at the blades of the Utilitech. I mean, just a 10-year difference. Two fans bought from Lowe's, and just a 10-year of difference. You can definitely see a significant decrease in the blade width. I mean, the Utilitech fan has a blade width about like that. I mean, no, the Prostandard. I meant the Prostandard has a blade width about like that here. And the Utilitech has a blade width of only like that. I mean, a fan manufactured back in 2003 and a fan here manufactured back in 2013. I mean, look at what a significant difference of just 10 years can do to the manufacturing of a high velocity metal fan. Look at just what 10 years can do to the manufacturing of a high velocity metal fan. You got thicker Grille grating and thicker blades on this one, but you got thinner Grille gratings and thinner blades on this one here. Not to mention I paid $40. Both of these fans here were $40 a piece. I paid $40 back in 2003 for this fan, my Prostandard here. And my Prostandard has been through lots and lots of use. In fact, this Prostandard was used a lot whenever my central air conditioner went out, whenever my very old central air conditioner went out. And I basically had no air conditioning in my house except for this Prostandard fan here. I mean, this fan was used for lots of summer months continuously, since I didn't have an air conditioner. I mean, as I said, I paid $40 for this fan back in 2003. And I paid exactly $40 for this fan back in 2013. And why in 10 years and why in a decade did the price of Lowe's high velocity fans did not change? Why on earth did the price of Lowe's high velocity fans did not change? Well, you're going to see that as I go further along in this video here. Excuse me if it appears smoky in the background because I've been vaping. It's probably hard to see these fans right here because I've been vaping my e-cig. You probably can see all the vapor in the background. Now, with all said, we're going to turn both these fans around. And we're going to combine the motors. We're going to compare the motors of both these fans here. Alright? Alright, let's take a look at the motors of these fans here. The Utilitech has the Prostandard here has a big motor. About that thick. And look how small the Utilitech fan motor is compared to the Prostandard there. You got a motor only that thick, about that high in height. And on the Prostandard, you got a motor about that high in height. So look at the difference between the motors here. On the Utilitech, you got a nice tough motor. You got a nice tough motor with a lot more windings to it. And the bigger motor, the more windings in this motor make this fan last a lot more longevity. And the really small motor of this fan here, you got less windings and probably even thinner windings. Yeah. Less windings And probably even thinner windings in this piece of shit fan right there. I mean, see for yourself. I'll move my camera around between the motors here. And you'll see what a difference the motors are. I mean, the Prostandard has a much bigger motor than my Utilitech fan here. And the Utilitech fan has less windings than my Prostandard. Which my Prostandard is 14 years old and is still going. And my Utilitech fan I haven't used all that much. Because why should I? Because I have a better graded fan right here. But let's say if I were to use the Utilitech fan 24/7, if I were to use both of these fans 24/7, and if I were to run these fans 24/7 both together, I think the Utilitech would probably die on me a lot sooner than my Prostandard here. If you don't believe today's fans are China pride, see for yourself. I mean, look at that. Look at how much bigger the motor of my Prostandard fan has than my Utilitech fan. Look at the significant size difference there. And then tell me that fans are not China pride. At least today's fans. Tell me that they are not China pride, because I believe just a 10-year difference and how much of a smaller motor my Utilitech fan has is proof that fan manufacturers have gone China pride throughout the years. Yeah, they've gone China pride. Alright, I turned the fans back around, and let me show you another difference between the fans. In the area where I'm pointing there is a capacitor. That's a capacitor where I'm pointing to help start the fan. Probably to keep the very small fan motor from burning up so fast. Because, I mean, as I showed you, this fan right here has such a small motor. And that small motor, how in the shit can it spin a 20-inch width of blades there? How in the shit can such a small motor spin a 20-inch blade set there? I mean, that question lies beyond my answering. That question lies beyond my answering, but I don't see how such a small motor can spin a 20-inch blade set there. I mean, it requires that capacitor about yay thick right there, and about yay width, just to start up that small motor. Because that motor has very few windings at all. Yes, this piece of shit Utilitech fan has very few windings at all in it. It being that the motor is so damn small. This Prostandard here has no capacitor to it. Probably because it doesn't need a capacitor, because that motor, you can probably see from my desk light that I'm shining on the fan here. I'm pointing to the motor windings there. It has, I mean, my Prostandard has a lot more windings in the motor. Than my piece of shit Utilitech fan has. I mean, look, I'm shining my desk light on my Utilitech, and you probably can't even see any motor windings at all, because it doesn't have much motor windings at all, because they've cheapened. Lowe's has cheapened their high velocity fans. Yeah, Lowe's has definitely cheapened their high velocity fans. So from my desk light and the Utilitech fan, you probably can't really see any windings at all, because the motor has virtually no windings, where this motor has lots of windings. Yeah. So the amount of windings my Prostandard has, it doesn't need a capacitor to start it up, because it has enough windings to do it so in the first place. And my Utilitech, its motor windings, its big motor with its big windings, has enough windings to keep it going for years and years to come. Which this Utilitech has virtually no windings. And this fan, Utilitech fan, probably won't last over 5 years. Kind of like that China Pride Lasco box fan I just showed you all a while ago. I mean, this Utilitech fan is definitely a piece of shit too. Not to mention that Home Depot sells a fan that's identical to my Utilitech there. Home Depot sells an exact fan that's identical to my Utilitech that I just showed you. Except for, it looks like from the photo that the Grille grates, are even thinner than my Utilitech fan there. Yeah, it looks like Home Depot's fans, Grille grates, are even thinner than my Utilitech fan there. And this fan right here has the exact same motor as my Utilitech fan. The exact same motor. So it looks like from the very, very thin Grille gratings of the fan that the Home Depot sells, that they've downgraded high velocity fans even more. Alright, let's take another look at the motor of the Utilitech here, which is the exact same as the motor in the fan unbranded version that Home Depot sells. The exact same motor. And I saw in some reviews of this fan, it was either this fan or the fan that Home Depot sells up there. They were saying that they hung the fan up in the a horse stall, and to use a fan to keep their horses cool. And I mean, the amount of dust generated in the barn from some horses Yes, the amount of dust generated from horses in a barn. How in the shit can such a tiny motor here hold up in a barn full of dust? Well, I got news for that customer. That their high velocity fan, their new high velocity fan probably won't last them over 2 years. Because these small motors are junk with very few windings to them. And they'll probably seize up really fast. Now let's see which fan can blow the most air. I mean, my Prostandard to the left is an 18-inch fan. And my Utilitech fan to the right is a 20-inch fan. So, we're going to test both these fans on all their speeds and see which fan can blow the most air. So, let me go over here and turn the fans on. Alright, let's start up on high for both these fans. Okay, now medium. Okay, now low. Now back to high. I mean, look, the Utilitech fan is still spinning down. I mean, the Prostandard fan right there is still spinning down, which it was, and the Utilitech stopped way before the Prostandard, which means the Prostandard probably has a much better motor than the Utilitech to the right. And I would say, I don't know if I'm wrong on this, but the Utilitech, you can see from the paper experience that you be the judge of which fan blows the most air. Yes, you be the judge of which fan blows the most air. I would say the Utilitech blows a little bit more air than the Prostandard, but yet the Utilitech fan is junk. It's absolute junk compared to the Prostandard. You can see from my proof of my video that the Utilitech, the way it's designed, the way that Utilitech is designed is absolute junk compared to my 14-year-old Prostandard there. So you be the judge on that, alright?